In a grand meeting room of the Galactic Council, representatives from various alien races gathered. They were discussing the latest developments across the galaxy, and Earth's recent rise in prominence had become a topic of conversation. Most of the aliens were curious, but some were outright dismissive. Among them was the leader of a small, weak alien fleet known as the Flaxen. The Flaxen fleet had always been considered a joke among the galactic powers. Their ships were outdated, and their technology was far behind what was standard in the galaxy. The fleet's commander, a being named Zorath, had traveled to Earth to discuss potential diplomatic relations. As he entered the council chamber with his small entourage, the other alien leaders snickered and exchanged amused glances. Zorath, with his greenish-blue skin and long, flowing antennae, seemed unaware of the laughter. His fleet's reputation had preceded him, and he had been met with mocking remarks from the moment he had announced his arrival. Despite this, Zorath was determined to prove that his fleet had more to offer than its humble appearance suggested. As the meeting began, the Earth's ambassador, Captain Sarah Mitchell, addressed the council. She was known for her calm demeanor and sharp wit. She had heard of the Flaxen fleet's reputation and was skeptical about the visit. "We welcome you, Commander Zorath," she said with a polite smile, though her eyes betrayed a hint of amusement. "We're eager to hear what you have to say." Zorath took the stage, his voice steady and confident. "Thank you, Captain Mitchell. My fleet and I are here to discuss a potential alliance between our people and Earth. We believe that even though our resources are limited, we can offer valuable insights and technology." The council members exchanged skeptical looks. The leader of the Sornath, a large, imposing alien with scales and multiple eyes, leaned over and whispered to a fellow council member, "This should be entertaining. I wonder what they'll say next." As Zorath continued speaking, his presentation was met with light-hearted chuckles and eye rolls. He talked about his fleet's history and the technological advancements they had made despite their size. The presentation included slides of old rusty ships and outdated equipment. To the council, it was clear that the Flaxen were not a serious threat. Captain Mitchell listened, her expression a mix of curiosity and barely concealed amusement. She had expected little from this meeting, and Zorath's presentation confirmed her expectations. The alien commander spoke with such sincerity that it was almost endearing. Yet the room's atmosphere remained light-hearted and dismissive. Zorath concluded his presentation, his voice filled with hope. "We may be small, but we are capable. We have successfully defended our territory and maintained peace in our region of space. We hope that Earth will consider a partnership with us." The council erupted into laughter. The aliens' dismissive comments were loud and clear. "Did you hear that? They think they can offer us something," one alien said, shaking his head. Captain Mitchell joined in the laughter, though she tried to maintain her professional composure. She responded with a courteous nod. "Thank you, Commander Zorath. We'll review your proposal and get back to you." Zorath's face fell slightly, but he nodded and exited the chamber with his small entourage. As the door closed behind them, the room buzzed with whispers and chuckles about the comical presentation they had just witnessed. The Flaxen fleet's visit was seen as a trivial affair, an amusing distraction in the busy lives of the galactic leaders. Little did they know, the laughter and scorn would soon turn into a lesson they would never forget. The next day, Earth's spaceports were bustling with activity. Ships from various parts of the galaxy came and went, and the atmosphere was one of excitement and routine. The arrival of the Flaxen fleet had been marked on the calendar, but most humans didn't expect anything out of the ordinary. The fleet had been discussed in hushed tones and with amused smirks, and many assumed it would be a short and unremarkable visit. The Flaxen fleet entered Earth's solar system in a formation that looked like a lineup of rusting relics. Their ships, although functional, had seen better days. They were old and clunky, with patches of dull metal and faded insignias. They seemed like they belonged to a bygone era of space travel. At the spaceport, the welcoming committee was ready but far from enthusiastic. Commander Zorath and his fleet approached Earth's main space station with an air of quiet dignity. Their ships were old and slow, and they drifted into position with a lack of the sleek grace seen in more advanced fleets. Humans looked on with mild curiosity, but many were more interested in their daily routines than in the arrival of a fleet they had dismissed as insignificant. Captain Sarah Mitchell, who had been at the meeting with Zorath, was once again in charge of the diplomatic reception. She stood with a small team, including a few junior officers and translators, ready to greet the aliens. They watched as the flaxen ships docked, their old engines sputtering as they made the final approach. As the docking sequence completed, Zorath and his team disembarked. The human reception team was polite but showed little excitement. Zorath, with his greenish-blue skin and flowing antennae, still seemed hopeful despite the obvious lack of enthusiasm from the humans. The alien visitors were escorted through the space station's corridors, which were modern and brightly lit. Zorath's entourage looked around with a mix of awe and curiosity. They had heard about Earth's technological advancements, but had never seen them up close. The human guides led the aliens to a conference room where refreshments and a formal welcome awaited them. Zorath, trying to make a good impression, spoke about the benefits of cooperation between their two species. He highlighted the potential for sharing knowledge and resources, and his optimism was palpable. But as the meeting began, something unexpected happened. One of Zorath's aides, a young flaxen named Zara, discreetly activated a small device hidden in her uniform. The device, though it looked simple, was actually a sophisticated piece of technology. It emitted a signal that disrupted the sensors and communication systems on the space station. The room suddenly experienced a series of technical glitches. Lights flickered and screens went dark. Captain Mitchell and her team were confused and tried to figure out what was happening. The alien visitors, meanwhile, remained calm and collected. In the middle of the confusion, Zorath's ships, which had been considered ancient and obsolete, began to demonstrate their hidden capabilities. They emitted powerful energy pulses that temporarily scrambled Earth's defense systems. The sudden display of advanced technology shocked everyone. Zorath, seeing the human reaction, decided it was time to reveal more. He activated another hidden feature of the flaxen ships, which involved cloaking technology that made the ships appear as if they were vanishing and reappearing at different points in the spaceport. This surprising display of stealth technology was not something the humans had anticipated. Captain Mitchell watched in stunned silence as the once dismissed fleet showed an impressive array of abilities. The humans who had laughed at the flaxen fleet's arrival now had their eyes wide with disbelief. The alien fleet's advanced features and capabilities were far beyond what anyone had expected. The meeting room buzzed with conversations about the surprising turn of events. Humans scrambled to assess the situation and understand the true nature of the alien fleet. What had started as a joke was now turning into a serious challenge. Zorath, despite the earlier mockery, now had the attention and respect of everyone present. The once laughable fleet had shown that they were far more than they appeared. The humans, who had been so sure of their superiority, now had to reconsider their position and approach to the flaxen fleet. The scene at the spaceport was chaotic. After the surprising display of the flaxen fleet's advanced technology, the humans scrambled to regain control and assess the new threat. The once dismissed alien fleet had just shown off capabilities that made Earth's top engineers and military strategists reevaluate their stance. Captain Sarah Mitchell, now deeply concerned, gathered her team in the conference room. She stared at the monitors displaying the fluctuating data from the spaceport and tried to piece together what had happened. "We underestimated them," she said, frustration clear in her voice. "These aliens have technology we didn't know about." In the command center, engineers worked furiously to restore the systems that the flaxen fleet had disrupted. The human team had initially thought that Zorath's ships were old and unworthy of serious concern, but the latest events proved otherwise. As they struggled to understand the extent of the alien technology, Zorath and his crew were preparing for the next phase of their visit. Zorath, meanwhile, was aware of the impact his fleet had made. He had anticipated that the initial impression might be one of ridicule, but he had been ready to demonstrate the true capabilities of his ships. The flaxen had hidden their most advanced technology to avoid drawing unnecessary attention before proving their worth. In a private meeting room, Zorath addressed his senior officers. "The humans are now fully aware that we are not as weak as they thought," he said, his tone both proud and serious. "We must use this opportunity wisely. Our goal is to establish respect and negotiate on equal terms." Outside, the humans continued their attempts to analyze the alien technology. They found that the cloaking devices, which made the flaxen ships seem to disappear and reappear, were far beyond anything Earth had developed. The energy pulses that had scrambled their systems were also more sophisticated than expected. Human scientists and military leaders worked together, sharing information and insights to counter the alien advancements. At the same time, Zorath and his team were meeting with Earth's top leaders to discuss their technology in more detail. The atmosphere in the room was tense but respectful. The humans, now fully attentive, listened carefully as Zorath explained the inner workings of his fleet's technology. The cloaking device, Zorath began, uses a form of quantum distortion that bends light around our ships. This makes them invisible to standard detection methods. Our energy pulses are designed to disrupt electronic systems without causing permanent damage. Human engineers and scientists took notes and asked questions, their earlier skepticism replaced by genuine curiosity. They realized that the Flaxen's technology could offer significant benefits, but it was also clear that the aliens had a strategic edge. Captain Mitchell, though still on edge, was impressed by the professionalism and expertise of Zorath's team. "You've shown us that your fleet is far more capable than we originally thought," she admitted. "We need to understand more about your technology to ensure we can work together effectively." Zorath nodded, relieved to see that his efforts were paying off. "Our aim is to build a partnership based on mutual respect and benefit," he said. "We believe that by sharing our knowledge, both our species can advance and thrive." As the discussions continued, the humans began to see the Flaxen fleet in a new light. What had once been considered a joke was now a serious player in the galactic arena. The hidden strength of the Flaxen fleet had forced humanity to confront its own assumptions and prepared them for a new kind of partnership. The realization that their earlier perceptions had been misguided brought a shift in the tone of the negotiations. The humans, now respecting the Flaxen's capabilities, were more open to exploring the possibilities of cooperation. Zorath, for his part, was determined to use this new respect to foster a meaningful and beneficial relationship between their two peoples. The events of the day had set the stage for a complex and evolving interaction between Earth and the Flaxen fleet. Both sides were now aware that their initial impressions had been wrong and that they had much to learn from each other. The unexpected strength of the Flaxen fleet had changed the dynamic, paving the way for new possibilities and challenges. The mood on Earth's spaceport shifted from curiosity to tension. After the surprising display of the Flaxen fleet's hidden strength, the humans had become wary. They had underestimated the alien fleet, and now they faced the challenge of preparing for a potential conflict. The Flaxen, on the other hand, were ready to assert their position and prove that their capabilities were not just for show. Captain Sarah Mitchell was in a high-stress meeting with her top military advisors. "We need to prepare for all scenarios," she said firmly. "The Flaxen have shown that they're more advanced than we thought. We can't afford to be caught off guard again." Her team nodded, their faces serious. They had already begun mobilizing Earth's defense forces and reviewing the spaceport's security systems. The once innocuous Flaxen fleet now seemed like a real threat. Meanwhile, the Flaxen had also been making their preparations, though their strategy was different. They aimed to use their technology and tactical skills to their advantage. As the sun set on Earth, the spaceport was alive with activity. Flaxen ships hovered in the distance, their cloaking devices active and making them appear like shadows against the night sky. The ships were ready, and Zorath had given the order to prepare for a demonstration of their full capabilities. The moment of confrontation came when Earth's sensors detected unusual activity. The Flaxen fleet, using their advanced cloaking and stealth technology, had managed to slip past some of Earth's early warning systems. Their ships emerged from the darkness, revealing their presence with a series of rapid, calculated maneuvers. Captain Mitchell's heart raced as she watched the screens in the command center. "They're here," she announced. "All units prepare for immediate action." The battle began with a flash. The Flaxen fleet launched a series of coordinated strikes against Earth's defense stations. Energy pulses from their ships disrupted communications and sensors, causing confusion among the human forces. The once confident Earth defenders were now scrambling to respond. The spaceport's defense systems fired back, their laser beams cutting through the dark. But the Flaxen fleet was quick and agile. Their ships moved with surprising speed and precision, dodging attacks and retaliating with powerful energy blasts. The once rusty ships now appeared sleek and deadly in combat. Human ships joined the fray, their weapons blazing as they tried to gain the upper hand. But the Flaxen fleet's superior tactics and technology made them formidable opponents. The humans were pushed to their limits, struggling to adapt to the advanced strategies and sudden changes in the battlefield. In the midst of the chaos, Zorath commanded his fleet with calm efficiency. His voice was steady as he gave orders and made tactical adjustments. The Flaxen ships executed maneuvers that left human forces struggling to keep up. Their cloaking devices allowed them to strike from unexpected angles, further complicating the defense efforts. The battle raged on for hours, with both sides taking heavy damage. The spaceport's defenses held firm, but the cost was high. Earth's ships were battered, and their systems were pushed to their limits. The Flaxen fleet, while showing impressive strength, also faced challenges. Their ships were old and required careful management to maintain their performance. As the battle reached its peak, a sudden signal from the Flaxen fleet's command ship announced a temporary ceasefire. Zorath's voice came through the communication channels, calm but firm. "We have demonstrated our capabilities. It is clear that we are not to be underestimated. Let us negotiate and find a path to peace." Captain Mitchell, exhausted but resolute, agreed to the ceasefire. "We need to discuss our next steps," she replied. "Let's use this opportunity to find a resolution." The battle had shown both sides their strengths and weaknesses. The Flaxen had proved their capabilities in combat, and the humans had realized that they needed to approach their new allies with respect and caution. The ceasefire was a chance to reassess and find a way forward, but it was clear that the relationship between Earth and the Flaxen had changed forever. The big clash had set the stage for a new chapter in their interactions. Both sides were now aware of each other's strength, and were ready to negotiate terms that could lead to a more stable and respectful partnership. The conflict had been intense, but it had also opened doors to new possibilities. The spaceport was quiet after the intense battle. The once bustling area now seemed subdued as Earth's defenders worked to repair their damaged systems and assess the aftermath. The temporary ceasefire had allowed both sides to catch their breath, but the tension was still palpable. Captain Sarah Mitchell and Commander Zorath faced each other across a conference table, the scars of the recent conflict evident on both sides. Captain Mitchell, though tired, wore a determined expression. "We've seen what your fleet is capable of," she said, "and we've learned a lot about each other. It's clear that we need to work together if we're to avoid further conflict." Zorath nodded in agreement, his face a mixture of relief and resolve. "Indeed. The battle was a harsh lesson for both of us. We showed our strength, and you proved your resilience. It's time to focus on how we can use these lessons to build a better future." The conference room was filled with representatives from both sides, each team discussing the terms of a potential alliance. The humans were impressed by the Flaxen's technology and tactical skills, but were also cautious about future interactions. The Flaxen, having proven their strength, were eager to negotiate from a position of respect. One of the key lessons learned was the importance of preparation and understanding. The initial dismissal of the Flaxen fleet had led to unexpected conflict. Now, both sides were aware of the need for better communication and mutual respect. The humans had underestimated the Flaxen's capabilities, while the Flaxen had learned about the complexities of Earth's defense systems. Zorath spoke to the gathered leaders. "Our technology and tactics are advanced, but we must remember that we are not invincible. The humans have shown that they can defend their home and adapt quickly. This is something we must consider as we move forward." Captain Mitchell agreed, adding, "We've seen that the Flaxen fleet is more than just old ships. Your technology is impressive, and your strategic skills are formidable. We need to understand each other better and find common ground." The discussions continued with both sides proposing ideas for cooperation. They talked about sharing technological advancements and forming joint defense strategies. The goal was to prevent misunderstandings and conflicts in the future. The battle had been a wake-up call, revealing that both sides had much to offer and much to learn. The human engineers were especially interested in the Flaxen's cloaking devices and energy pulses. They saw potential in integrating these technologies into their own systems, improving their defenses and capabilities. The Flaxen, in turn, were eager to learn from Earth's innovations and advanced systems. As the negotiations progressed, a sense of optimism began to replace the earlier tension. Both sides recognized that they had valuable skills and technologies to share. The battle had forced them to confront their assumptions and understand the true potential of their allies, or adversaries. By the end of the meeting, an agreement was reached. The Flaxen and Earth would collaborate on various projects, sharing knowledge and resources. They would also establish a joint task force to address any future conflicts and ensure that their newfound partnership remained strong. Captain Mitchell and Commander Zorath shook hands, a symbol of their commitment to a new era of cooperation. "We've come a long way from where we started," Mitchell said. "Let's make sure that this partnership benefits both our peoples." Zorath smiled, a gesture of genuine respect. "Agreed. The lessons we've learned will guide us as we move forward. Together we can achieve great things." The lessons learned from the clash had transformed the relationship between Earth and the Flaxen. What had started as a battle of underestimation and conflict had evolved into a partnership based on mutual respect and shared goals. Both sides were now ready to face the future with a new understanding and a commitment to working together. As the spaceport returned to its normal rhythm, the focus shifted to the promising future that lay ahead. The unexpected clash had forged a stronger bond between Earth and the Flaxen, setting the stage for a new chapter in their interstellar relations.